Hey everyone, Miacidae here. Welcome back to Darkest Dungeon. Today we're going to be going into the ruins because, well, the Marcus brothers, as much as I don't want to fight them, have a trinket that I would really like to go get. So, for those of you who don't know what the Marcus brothers are, they are a modded boss quest that I have to go fight for mini bosses, I kind of want to call them. It's one big fight, kind of like going to fight a boss, but there's 4 of them, and altogether they are a little bit nasty. Depending upon how the fight goes, it's either really easy because of some of the moves they can use. Like, they could just buff each other the entire fight and just use like debuffs, buffs, and not touch me. Or they could completely cripple and annihilate me. I've had it go both ways. So, I figured I would just pull out what I can to go and try to annihilate them. That being said, I don't really have a great healer. I do have Vigo with the Panacea additive, so I can heal, but I will be just mainly going for damage. The other part about this quest that is a little weird is you'll see that it's complete 100% of room battles. It's not defeat the boss. So I do have to go and defeat every single room battle that is in there. And there are multiple room battles, not just the boss fight. So I can't just plan for fighting the boss because I do have to fight a lot of enemies that are in the ruins, and there could be things like the Bone Dragoon. I've run into him a lot in there, or some of the other wandering mini bosses that are in there. For instance, I could even run into the Dwemer Lake. So things can get rough before even fighting the mini boss, or the boss, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to have to be careful, because just even beating the boss doesn't mean beating the entire quest. So we're going to see how this goes, but if I do beat it, I'm going to get the serrated harpoon, which I kind of wanted to toy around with, because earlier in the estate, I'll call it, I did get this lovely thing, the harpoon gun, which, if you'll see, does hunt down minus 50% bleed amount. And none of the foreigner's moves actually do any bleed, which kind of confused me at first, and I actually got a little bit of a confirmation about this from the mod maker. And that's actually to nerf synergy with the serrated harpoon. Because if you see, hunt down, bleed 4 for 2 rounds, among a few other things. So instead of doing 4 for 2 rounds, it would now do 2 for 2 rounds, mainly because with this you could use it every single round, and your ranged damage on Hunt Down would go down by 50% instead of 20 or 33, which makes sense because instead of using it every other round, you're using it every single round. But I still wanted to test to see how it would do because it's now doing both bleeding and you're using it every single round, which for her most powerful move seems a little good. So that's why we're going to go get it. Now, the Marcus brothers can bleed, that's why I'm bringing Rex and Chilchuck. But they can also blight, and the enemies otherwise besides the Marcus brothers can be blighted, that's why I'm bringing Silent. And, well, also Vigo. So hopefully by bringing both of them, I'm going to be doing enough of both damages. That's kind of the hope there. And you'll notice that my gold went down considerably. That's because Rex had been brought back by that From the Dead town event and had all of his skills and his armor pretty much brought down to 1, so he cost pretty much most of my gold to get back to where he was. So hopefully I'm going to be bringing back a little bit of gold from this, but I'm not counting on much other than the reward, so I probably will need to go gold farming after this. But to kind of go over how we're going to do this, Rex is going to be in front, but we have the Silent in row 2, so he can kind of dance with her. He's going to have Biting Blade, so he can do extra damage versus bleeding once I get some bleeding set up with, say, like either him or Chilchuck, because extra crit versus bleeding, and then we also have Trifuricate for extra damage versus bleeding. We have Teeth Rake, so I can pull and do bleeding damage. And then Bloody Ambition, because block it, Mark himself, activate a riposte that does a lot of damage with a guaranteed crit. Then we have the Bloody Feather and the Whip of Domination on him, so he does plus 50% total damage versus bleeding. If I decide to do Teeth Rake, he does extra bleed duration and extra bleed amount and extra bleed chance. And then he also has a plus 15% damage if there's another monster corpse. I also have Headhunter on him as a camping skill, so if I decide to use that, he'll do extra 20% damage versus the Marcus Brothers, an extra 8 crit versus any of the Unholy in there. We're then going to have Silent, who I'm not going to forget to put Footwork, and I'm going to go get Accuracy for really quick. That way she has a little bit of extra damage. But otherwise, she's mainly going to be using her Poisoner's tools, but I will dip into the Cursor tools as needed. We're going to have the Specimen, so on monster kill, blight all remaining monsters 3 for 3, and the Ancestor's Coat for a little extra dodge on her, bringing her dodge up to 50. We then have Chillchuck the Half-Foot with Mark Weak Point for marking, debuffing them for plus damage and crit received. Jugular Shot, so plus bleed amount versus marked, and bleed chance versus marked, otherwise bleed and bypass stealth, which stealth is a thing in the boss fight. We have Blinding Knife for crit versus marked, bleeding, bypass stealth once again, and minus accuracy, and guide attack, clearing stun, which I do believe there is an attack in there that can stun, plus damage, plus accuracy, plus crit, and allowing whoever he buffs to ignore stealth. We then have the Bicorn Horn, so plus debuff chains for all of his lovely debuffs there, and on ranged hit he will minus their bleed, blight, and stun resistance. We then also have Murder Humanities on him, so he'll get plus bleed duration versus marked for when he does Jugular Shot or Blinding Knife, plus bleed amount and bleed chance versus bleeding, or essentially minus stun resistance unless we run into something that is size 2. And then we're going to be using Vigo. I did change up his moves a little bit, so he has the Ruler for a stun. We then have Disrupt, which will bypass guard, stealth, and riposte, and break all of them, which is a thing, if I remember correctly, on the boss fight. Power Play to mark, just for a little synergy with Chillchuck there, although he probably will not be going before Chillchuck. And then Implode to up bleed amount applied and blight amount applied. We then have Dissertation, so friendly skills will clear, horror, stun, and all debuffs, which probably will be a thing. And then the Panacea additive, so we can turn him into a healer. So that's kind of the plan, Vigo being the healer, and then just otherwise being the debuffer and buffer, and the others just being ready to rip apart the bosses. And I'm hoping that's going to be enough to both get the bosses down for me and get through anything else I need to get through, because like I said, not only do I need to beat the bosses, I need to get through every other room battle, which may include other mini bosses. It can be rough, so I'm gonna bring all the food I can. I'm gonna need shovels, we're gonna need anti-venom and bandages, medicinal herbs, torches. Oh boy. This, however, is why we have things to sell. So, where are they? Let's sell one of the glints of gold, get 10,000 gold back, get some more torches, and then accuracy is going to be a huge thing here, so I want the plus accuracy. I want the stun resistance, and we will call it that. You know what, let's also bring some red seal, so we do extra damage versus marked for when I bring Mark with Vigo. A band of brothers lurks nearby. I do like the art they did for this. It is really, really cool. Now, something I didn't go over that I kind of forgot about is that there are a lot of unique trinkets from this fight pertaining to certain brothers. Like, you can get this guy's hammer, you can get this guy's mask. I forget who has the swords, but the one guy has some hook swords, and you can get those. Every time I fought them, you only get like 2 of the 4 trinkets, and I don't think that you can redo this fight. So that's always something that's bothered me, is if you can't redo the fight, you should get all of the trinkets. But that's just me, and we'll see if that's a thing again. Alright, let's use all of these. Just for the accuracy, the protection, healing received, and the stun resistance. Now, as you'll see, this is the map that you'll get every single time. I'm not sure if the
Old stone seems bent.
battle rooms are the same every single time, but we will find out very quickly. I'm going to go up here because we didn't scout. I'm going to leave that alone for now.
Mechanical hazards.
Unfortunate for the damage on Rex. We will get this on him.
If only
A little bit of gold there. We found our first battle room.
otherworldly corruption.
See if we find anything with Chilchuck. A little extra gold and an onyx. Considering I spent like 50,000, that's very, very welcome. Actually spent more than that. We can use this to get more gold. We'll leave the 300. And our first fight. They are surprised. I am going to... I do +6 damage on him and then do a biting blade. I can probably just wreck a gargoyle. I'm probably not going to bleed through them or anything like that. The best I could probably do is debuff their accuracy. But that being said, minus accuracy on the Bone Lancer is probably a good thing.
Executed.
Then let's try to stun one of them.
Precision and power.
I could try Furicate and take out the Bone Lancer, so let's do that. Oh, he's at 1 health, so what I'm gonna do is we're going to Corpse Explosion him, and then I spread Blight to all of them. That's a nice little 9 Blight around on all of them. And because that one died, that's 12 because of our specimen. We'll heal Rex on our next turn.
Slowly, gently.
And Blight spread again, so he's at 15. I'm gonna do Implode, because that's a heal for 8. 18 with the crit, which is awesome. Blinding Knife, and he goes down. Boom.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope.
We are going to... never mind. I am going to take the gems over these gold stacks. We did not scout, and I think this is a battle room. We're going to burn through the mist. Torching up. And I was right. So let's get through the spiders. That's a bleed for 3. You know what, let's Blinding Knife this one. And then I can Corpse Explosion it. I'm going to Implode on her, so when she explodes this one, it's probably going to take the rest of them out. I'm going to try Furicate hitting the Observer just to get him down lower.
The will to fight falters.
Nice. Oh, do not stealth him. Unfortunate. Alright, let's do Corpse Explosion on this one then.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And they're all blighted for 18. We are going to do Disrupt to move back.
Obliterate.
Or I suppose that's not moving back, but...
Destroyed.
Getting rid of the Blight. And we will Jugular Shot. Yep. And now it goes down to Blight. And we're good. Don't really need any of that. However, we can do this. I don't think I have the chemical shells, so we can keep those. Then using this, taking that, leaving the rest, and going back. Gonna go to this room here. I will go back to the Shambler depending upon how things are. But the boss takes precedence. Alright, so 6 to 8, or I can add 8 damage to her. I'm gonna add, or 6 damage to her, so I'm gonna add 6 damage to her attack. We're going to implode her so she does more blight. I'm gonna try Furicate. And try to hit the Bone Warden for as much as I can. And then when I take him out with the Bone Warden, I do like 18 blight, was it? And so they all go on their next turn. You know, if I'm gonna have him healing, maybe I should have TikTok as well. Because otherwise, I'm banking on a single heal that I'm not even going to be using as a heal. Alright, we're going to disrupt to take this guy out.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
And there we go. Taking what I can.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled.
Gonna torch up, leave the torch, and take crests, because I do need those. And we're gonna use the key here. Don't really want to take the gold over any of that. We did not scout again, so we're gonna go down to this room. Leaving the book. Oh, I have not seen the Profaned Chimera yet on this estate. How's that gonna go? Well, we can blight it pretty well. Let's go with that. I might need to use the Panacea additive. So let's break the stealth. Can I corpse explosion him? If it crits, it takes him out.
A decisive.
Then they still get blighted. Now they're blighted for 9. I'm going to Biting Blade to try to take out the Lancer. Okay, that hurts a bit. Oh, that's a stun too. Lovely. Let's all camp here and heal Chill Chuck. If I do this, imploding him to heal, he's probably in a bad spot. So let's do Catalyst here. That'll put a huge blight on because it did 6 plus 6 because he was already blighted. Thing has some cool attacks. And then we'll disrupt and take it out.
A victory.
I'm gonna get rid of the ruler. I think. We're gonna bandage here. We're gonna eat with chill. We're gonna do this. And then... do I want to get rid of that or power play? No, we're gonna get rid of ruler because power play has an thing I want to use for the boss. Oh, that's just lovely.
Traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for
Key here.
blood.
Gonna take the crests. I do think that there's a fight here in that lower right room, but I'm just gonna go down here first. So we're gonna camp. We're gonna feast for the stress
Circle in the dark.
and the health.
Battle may yet be won.
I'm gonna do equivalents so we do more damage. And I'm gonna put that on Rex twice. We're then going to do footwork accuracy 3 times. I'm gonna do excellent hearing so we don't have a nighttime ambush. I'm very tempted to do Headhunter, but that's only 20% damage. And I can do Caltrops, which will probably do more for us. So let's do that for the damage reflection, yeah? I was tempted to do footwork too, but then I didn't know what else I would do.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Alright, taking this.
A handsome reward.
Gonna burn through the wall. We're going to do torching up. And here we are. And I just realized I forgot holy waters, so that's lovely. We're as in good shape as we're gonna get. So here they are. Even with the surprise chance thing that we have from Chilchuck's excellent hearing, we got that. Lovely. So we're gonna do blinding knife. Just to move back, we're going to hit... ooh, which... as you can see, they all have different resistances, so we're probably not going to be blighting Crawford. They can all be bled, at least. So... I think Crawford's the one I'm going to want down the most. So let's get started on him. We didn't bleed him either, yikes. That's plus accuracy, plus crit. He just stealthed the big guy. I'm not sure how he can stealth, but you know, you do you. We're gonna move back. Lovely blight there. Fighting blade to move forward. Ooh, that's a nice crit. I'm gonna backflip for my free action here. I don't think I can do that again. And then I'm gonna do Noxious Fumes for extra blight chance, and then all enemies blight. Just setting myself up. And you missed. Well, at least there's some reflection there. Anti-venom. Just until I set things up, we're going to guide attack on her. I'm going to tick-tock to heal, chill. And then we're going to implode to double her blight. Which could have been bad if that actually did anything there. Ooh. Fighting blade. This is gonna be bad when he hits. We're gonna corpse explosion Devon, because it will take him out. And then that's gonna spread to everyone else, so 18 blight on all of them. Okay. What do we want to do here? I'm gonna blinding knife him, because if the debuff goes off, that's less hit on him, or less accuracy. I was not expecting that to hit, but you can tell that's extra damage versus marked. I'm gonna try power play, because if I can get the bleeding on Cletus, that's gonna be awesome. I'm going to Catalyst here. I have 140 base, plus the Noxious Fumes giving me an extra 20. So I have a 160 blight chance right now. We're gonna hit Osborne with this, I think. So he has a 45 blight. Jeez, that's huge. Thankfully he missed. I can't try Furicate and hit the front row, so I'm gonna Bloody Ambition. So whoever hits Rex next is in for a bad day. And it looks like all that wore off, so not gonna work how I wanted it to. Blinding Knife on Cletus, lowering his accuracy. Going to... I don't think Disrupt is going to work how I want it to. And then I can't mark who I want, and I'll bleed Rex. Alright, so Disrupting, let's take out Crawford. Do a little extra damage.
Unnerved, unbalanced.
Lovely. Going to Teeth Rake him to try to bleed. So we have roughly 170, so we're only 10% chance to be resisted. I think Cletus goes down.
The ground quakes.
By Corpse Explosion, that's not going to work how I want, so we're going to Tools of the Trade to refresh everything. And I'm going to Glass Knife, hitting Crawford. They're blighted again. Cletus goes down on... oh, not anymore. Crawford's down. Now Cletus goes down, so let's heal while we can. I thought that would actually heal. Says it should heal. We are going to use the Anti-Venom. And we are going to Jugular Shot for the finish. Now, not that I'm complaining about the Trapezohedrons, but see what I said about the trinkets here? There's also supposed to be like a mask, and there's supposed to be a hammer. So we got the Great Thunderer for the Man-at-Arms, which is the... oh, is this the hammer? So the Great Thunder for the Man-at-Arms, Great Marcus Family Heirlooms, plus stun chance if in position 2, plus damage, melee skills minus accuracy on melee hit. Stun. So I don't have to use Rampart to stun. Then we got the Swordsman Slicers for the Highwayman, plus speed, accuracy on riposte, minus damage on riposte hit, bleed for 140% chance, 2 for 2. And then a lot of puzzling Trapezohedrons, a Ruby. I'm not sure that I have to continue or not.
The promise of
I'm going to be a little careful with this. I feel like I can get rid of the Anti-Venom, and we'll end it there. Okay, I will end it. just because I don't think I can go and fight the Shambler now. Don't think it's a good idea. But it was complete 100% of battle rooms. So you can see where, like, if I didn't go and do the ones before, and I went straight for that, where I would be in a bad shape to go fight the other rooms. Or, on the way to them, I've actually had a Bone Knight show up and kick my butt. So, or, I've also found Nerub in here. And after fighting those guys, Nerub was not a good choice to go fight. So then, on top of the gold we just got, because a lot of puzzling trapezohedrons, we got another 15,000, 20 crests, and the serrated harpoon, for a grand total of 41,600. And 41 crests. So that's a pretty good takeaway. Everyone did hit level 6. Rex got Warrior of Light, replacing Warren's Explorer. Chilchuck got Soft and Chronic Fatigue. But once again, you can see how that quest would get very rough very quickly.
The tragic extent of my failings.
If you weren't, like, ripping them apart. I do believe I have a Forsaken, otherwise this would be a really cool grab. He actually has some good quirks. Determined is actually really good for him because of Plague Carrier. He does have some bad ones, but that's some good stuff he has. I'm not gonna lie. So that's another boss down. Which also makes the runes a little easier to go through, because I didn't realize that would give me experience on the runes. Interesting, because there can only be so many quests in every area. So now more can pop up and populate the runes, so I can maybe find more trinkets and things like that, which is a thing for the longest time in the runes. So the Warpstone Mines has another one that I've been kind of looking at and kind of been interested in, just because the Warpstone addiction has changed on me. And I think I've mentioned this a few times now, but I'm not sure how this works anymore, because Warpstone addiction used to work a lot differently, so the Warpstone snuff has changed. But now this says low evolution of a Warpstone addiction, which, if you pull up, isn't a disease that normally evolves anymore. So I'm slightly interested to see how this works, and I've been kind of tempted to go get this every time it pops up. And it's been popping up a lot recently, every time it can pop up in one of the Vermintide boss trinkets. Like if I go to the Hell Pit Abomination here, it has not changed for a while. It's been on the Doomwheel prototype here for the past 3 weeks as well, and if it's not this, it's the trinket for the Phantasma. So I think I want to go get this next week, just because 1, it's not going away, and 2, it does have my interest peaked. So I do want to get this to just see how it changes the Warpstone addiction, see what that evolution is, and 2, it does have that plus 8% crit if you have the Warpstone addiction. So just that in of itself is kind of nice. So I do kind of want to test this out, so I think next time I will be going to fight the Doomwheel prototype, which is the final Doomwheel in the Warpstone Mines. After that, it's the final Stormfiend. After that, there is one final boss in the Warpstone Mines. And then after that is, to me, the hardest boss in the Vermintide thing. So there should be 4 more bosses, I believe, in the Warpstone Mines, the Vermintide stuff. And that's the last half of that section of the Vermintide mods, because it did kind of split off. Like the Hamlet Invasion ends with the Hell Pit Abomination and the Plague Priest, and the Warpstone Mines kind of ends with the Doomwheel prototype into the Stormfiend, into the boss I haven't mentioned yet, into a whole new thing, which is really, really cool. Those might be coming soon. I don't think I'm going to go all in on those yet, but we are getting to the end of the Warpstone Mines, which kind of means the end of the Warpstone trinkets as well. Unless I kind of start farming, these guys. So kind of like I could start farming the Ringmaster for these trinkets if I really wanted to. But that'll be the plan, is going to get this next time, at least as a start, and then go from there and see kind of what interesting things this does. Because once again, it does have my interest peaked. I'm not sure how it works. I'll find out and see just how bad that is. That'll be the plan for next time. As always, I wish you all well. I'll see you next time, and please have a good one.